Good morning. This is Dr. Timothy Scott back, kindly coming to you this morning from Life Point Medical, and I hope you're doing good today. I really do. It is the 26th of January of 2022. It's my daily update. So let's go ahead and start talking about Mr. COVID. 2,599 cases. It's coming around. I'm still talking to people about uh, trying to reiterate the fact that there's no such thing as a common cold this year. And I know I've said it a million times, but it's just, it, it it's here, and it's going around, and maybe it's a good thing that it's being so contagious and so many people are getting it. But I'll say it again, there's no such thing as a common cold this year. So let's go through some housekeeping things right now. Uh, One thing, I was talking to the girls this morning. I said, hey, is there anything I need to say on my video today to help people out? They said, yes, please re-encourage people to bring their meds to their visits, because we still have people who come in and we have to figure out what medications they're on. Sometimes they bring a list, but a lot of times the lists are wrong, or they just say, I'll just tell you what I'm on, and I start listening to what they're telling me, and I'm like, well, there's no way that medicine is not treated that way, or that's not how we give that medicine. And they look at me like in a very confused manner. And then I say, you've got to bring your meds in. We've got to get this right. And I'm not going to give myself a break if I do something wrong because I didn't have the right information. Okay, so I'm adamant about people making sure that their medications are we know exactly what you're on. And again, I tell everybody, and people don't understand this, is extremely complicated. The computers cannot do it. The computers can't. Even we're tied to the pharmacies, and all it does is it just gets jumbled up because there's more than one name of a medicine, there's more than one formulation of a medicine, there's more than one dose of a medicine, and there's more than one dosing schedule for each medicine. So it's complicated, and it's hard to keep up with, and we spend a lot of time trying to do that. And you know, I know people don't want to bring their meds, but I'll tell you, we spend a lot of time trying to reconcile the meds too. So it's like it's not completely a waste of our time, but it is very time consuming to get it right. Okay, and we just want to do that. Okay. I mentioned yesterday about the post-COVID double pneumonia thing that we're seeing, and lo and behold, I think 4 or 5 people yesterday listened to my video and got checked out, and they had double pneumonia. So this thing is, I don't understand exactly how this is happening, but I'm seeing people with COVID. They might have a mild case of COVID. They might get better, may not, but remotely, maybe a week later or 2 weeks later, they come down with pneumonia. And inevitably, some people call me and say, I don't feel good. And I say, you probably got pneumonia. They say, well, it's not pneumonia, okay? And I'm like, well, can I just check your chest x-ray? And I check the chest x-ray, and they do have pneumonia. So it's not presenting even like we would like it to. So keep your eye out on that. We're here for you. We're vigilant on that. And if after you've had COVID and you've gotten over the COVID, you're having fevers, chills, a cough, shortness of breath, weakness, you're just not getting better, we want to hear from you. We need to see you, and we need to check your x-rays out. Okay? So the last thing I want to give you just a little 1-minute blurb on a common medical topic. It's called atrial fibrillation. Atrial fibrillation is when your heart, the top of your heart and the bottom of your heart get out of rhythm. And I can hear it when I do when I listen to you. A lot of times I can hear when people are in atrial fib, but sometimes I can't. The thing that we care about atrial fib is because it is the #1 cause of stroke without people realizing that they're in danger for a stroke. So a lot of people ask, why do you get an EKG on me every year? And I was like, that's why. And then I listen to you almost every single time you come to make sure you're not in atrial fib. If you are in atrial fib, it's not a deadly disease unless it goes unnoticed, and it can cause that stroke we're talking about. Otherwise, we have several ways that we can help you treat the atrial fib, and I treat the atrial fib along with the cardiologist. We all work together on that, with the main thing being controlling the rate of your heart and making sure you're appropriately anticoagulated. So I know a lot of y'all already have atrial fib. It's a nuisance, but it's not a big issue. And if you ever listen or feel your heart and it's completely erratic, and maybe the rate's up or something like that, or you're feeling funny, that's a good reason to seek help, either through me or through the emergency room, if you think you've got into atrial fib. Atrial fib is the #1 heart condition in America, and the good thing is it's completely treatable and doesn't hurt you if it's managed appropriately. That's atrial fibrillation. Alrighty, thank you so much for listening to me today. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for listening.